Hello and welcome to another episode of CrossBones MMA radio series, In the Mix with John Galloway. I'll be your host, John Galloway, and today, as we look at the world of combat sports, I'll be joined by my guest, Jose Figueroa. Jose, John, CrossBones MMA, how's it going today?
Oh man, I'm doing great. I'm just at the gym right now, about to run a class, and just wanted to make sure I get this interview with you guys and get my name out there and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. We really appreciate you calling in, especially right before teaching in class. But we have you on the line today because not only are you teaching classes down there in Florida, but in about 8 days you're going to be fighting down there in Florida on October 31st, Halloween night, for Titan Fighting Championship at Titan Fighting Championship 31, and it's going to take place in Tampa, Florida. You're going to be facing Tyler Stinson. How exactly did this fight come all about?
Really, man, I was actually, trained for the camp. I already had the fight a couple weeks before that, we were sorting through names, and we're getting a little trouble, figuring out who we were going to end up fighting and stuff. I was actually starting to get a little paranoid, and then his name popped up, and I was like, it's a huge name. Big name, tough opponent, and that's good because I know he's not going to back out, and I know he's going to be ready to show up and do his thing,
Yeah, now you're coming into this off of a 3-fight win streak and a couple other organizations, Gladiators, The Cage, Warfare, Panama Fight League, but you've been in the big show before. You fought for M1, you've been through Bellator, Reality Combat, so you've been around a little bit. Any nerves going back into a bigger fight show, a bigger organization?
No, man, not really. Like I said, I fought, when I was in Russia, there was about 35,000 fans, you know what I mean? The Russian president was there. I was co-main event with Fedor Emelianenko. It was one of the first times he actually got back to Russia, so it was like a huge event. I mean, man, when I was walking out, they had like these women jump around with chains and all types of things that I didn't even know about. They didn't even tell us about that. You know what I mean? As soon as I'm walking out the fight, that happened. But, and they also brought us out like Pride. They bring you out at Pride to, kind of, let you know what country you come from. They line everyone up and stuff. So, after stuff like that, any big show, no matter what show it is, I'm sure it doesn't get no different than that,
Yeah, that sounds pretty crazy, but it sounds like it would be a lot of fun also. Now, you are taking on Tyler Stinson. He's a serious competitor. He's got a lot of experience in the ring. He's 27-10. Any thoughts about taking on such a seasoned fighter?
To me, it's definitely a tough fighter, but, to me, he's just another tough opponent, you know what I'm saying? I fought a lot of tough guys before, so, this is not going to change anything, It'd actually be it would actually be a little bit different and weird if I didn't fight a tough opponent, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm more used to fighting tough opponents, so, it just goes along with it. I mean, he's a very experienced fighter, but, so am I. So, for experience-wise, I'm not really worried about that. I'm just going to stick to my game plan and, look to exploit his weaknesses. He's a tough guy.
Sure.
He's coming off a loss from Berkman. He's never got knocked out before, so let's see how that affects him. Not everyone, everyone wins, and they're all great when they win, and they do well when they win. Sometimes people aren't the same when they lose like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Now, you're no slouch yourself. You're 13-6. Now, half of your wins have come by TKO or knockout. The other half have been submissions. Where would you characterize yourself? Would you consider yourself a striker? Would you consider yourself a submission artist? Where would you put yourself? Or do you just see yourself as a well-rounded fighter that can handle the fight wherever it goes?
I definitely, consider myself a well-rounded fighter. I feel like, I've been training striking and grappling just as long as one another, and I feel like a lot of my earlier fights, I was taking guys down and winning fights like that, and later on towards my career, I was actually, winning fights with standing and losing some fights with standing. So I was in that process of, figuring it out live, you know what I mean?
Right.
In combat. So now that I've moved up to 170, I feel like it's a better weight class for me. I feel like my experience with the lightweight fighters and top-notch lightweight fighters is just going to help me with the speed and stuff like that in this weight class. I just pretty much been focusing on getting strong and make sure I match up well with the guys in the strength department. But I feel like just that advantage of being in there with some lightweight athletes is really going to help me in this welterweight division.
Yeah, the lighter you go, the faster they get. There's no doubt about that. Now, you had mentioned that you've been training striking as well as grappling, just as long as each other. What is your background with mixed martial arts? Where did you get your start?
I started off, this is pretty much happened. I pretty much started off, I was working in construction, and my boss, he was a grappler. He was like a brown belt at the time, and I was about 17, and we would roll around and after work, or sometimes we were waiting for materials or blocks, and I was a block layer, so we were waiting for stuff, and we'd be grappling around, and and then one day he was just like, hey, you should just go, and that was pretty much when I was like 18. He was like, you should go, and I went, and I started grappling, and then probably 6 months after I started doing Muay Thai.
Nice. Now, coming from the fact that all of your fighting experience, all your fighting techniques have all been honed as a complete mixed martial artist from the beginning, do you feel that that's an advantage that you have over other fighters that started with one discipline, such as high school wrestling or college wrestling? Or do you think that it's a disadvantage that some of those other fighters have such a strong base in one particular discipline? How do you view that paradox?
Well, I'll tell you what. I feel like definitely it goes both ways. But just like you said, you got, it's great because you mixed everything up in the beginning, and but those guys get an advantage because they really focus on and really hone one skill and learn themselves with one skill. But I feel like that was part of the problem, through my career, was honing everything, and I grappled a lot, and I was showing that great in the fights, and then I was really good at striking in the gym, but I wasn't showing it in the fights, But now is when everything comes together, and now I feel like that's doing everything for so long. It's finally came together, and now everything's clicking.
Nice. Now you're going to be representing American Top Team along with several other fighters on the fight card that evening. What's it like having, quote unquote, your brothers in arms there alongside of you, ready to do battle?
Well, you know what, man. It's gonna be a great thing, because everyone's gonna be fired up. Everyone's gonna be ready to go, and when you look around, there's just gonna be a bunch of game faces on and ready to do battle. And that's just gonna fuel the fire, and make things happen good that night. Make sure you go out there and you're ready to perform for the team. You know what I mean?
Yep. Now, what is your camp like? Are you still currently wrapping up your camp? Have you wrapped up your camp? What's your timetable here?
Well, this is the thing, with Tyler, being a southpaw and stuff like that. We got the matchup, pretty much 3 weeks out. Stuff, it was very important for me to adjust everything. You know what I mean? And I'm still working on that. I'm still focusing on that. I'm still getting some sparring and I'm working. You know what I mean? I'm not. I'm definitely take my precautions and stuff like that. We're close to the fight, but getting prepared for that southpaw in that shorter period of time, I'm definitely going to extend it a little longer than I usually would.
Gotcha. And how is this camp? How has this camp been? I know it's a short one for you, but how are you feeling? You feeling strong? No injuries? Nothing like that? How'd the camp go?
Well, yeah, I don't have no injuries, man, and this is actually, like I said last night, and my performance was amazing. It's my second. This will be my second fight camp, actually under a strength and conditioning coach, and we actually been working since May, and this is now we've been putting in the work, with the heavy lifting, with the deadlifts, the squats, with all, everything, and it really helps, man. When you get in there and you get in there, it's just you and that guy. If he hasn't been putting that work in, man, it's going to make you more explosive when you get in there, and I've always wanted to do it. I just never really got up with a good strength and conditioning coach, and now that I have one, this is my second fight camp with it, and I'm only expecting to get better and better as each fight camp comes. Like last fight camp, some of my lifting numbers and stuff were at one point, and we had to build up to that. This camp was kind of like in the beginning of it. We were already where we left off, So it's just going to make me more explosive and just a better athlete. That's one of the things I'm actually focusing on now. That's made me better, and I feel like I said that last fight, and what happened was speed and explosiveness, and I feel like my timing and my skills was always been there, but now I have the strength and conditioning behind me to make things happen better on fight night.
That's awesome. That's exciting for you. Now, you had mentioned right when we started that you were getting ready to start teaching a class down there. Are you putting in a full-time fighter camp, or are you balancing your work with your camp? How's that coming out?
Well, I definitely balance my work with my camp. Until I get to the where I want to in my career. But it works well because I got a gym that's really behind me, and if I have to take off and if I need to still get paid and pay them back later on the line or whatever it takes, to get that extra work, I could take off whenever I want, Like say somehow I got a great training partner right now, all right, I'm gone,
Right.
Out of no warning, they got it covered. 2-second notice, it's kind of one of those things, and I teach about I do teach a lot of classes. I probably teach about 20 classes a week,
Right.
So, I'm pretty busy on teaching, but I definitely around my training, you know what I mean? Around my training, and if it gets in the way of the training, then it's got to be moved,
Sure. Now, without giving away your game plan, obviously, don't want to get into specifics here with you, but how do you see this fight going? Where do you see, the fight taking place? Where do you see your strengths over his weaknesses?
I feel like I have more than one way to win the fight. You know what I mean? That's one of my biggest things I'm looking at this fight. He's a great striker. But I feel like that's what he's going to do, and that's what he's always going to do. Look how many fights he has. We really haven't seen him. And it is another thing I looked at it. Looking at my last 3 fights, and you could see like I'm growing and things are changing. So whatever I've done before that was just me warming up to where I'm going to be. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm looking way more explosive. I'm looking way more aggressive. Sky's the limit for me. For him, he's been looking great and being an awesome, an opponent, for a while. But we all know what he can do. You know what I mean? I'm just starting to show what I can do.
And we're looking forward to seeing more of that, no doubt about that. Now, along with the gym that's helping you out, giving you the flexibility to train, there's also companies and people that have helped you out along the way. Any sponsors that you want to get quick mention for?
Yeah, I would like to thank Alkaline Water. Those guys are a great sponsor for water, and actually, a great product. I use it for my training camps, and it works really well. It keeps me hydrated, refuels me after training, and it's just a great workout or just regular living product. Unique Kennels, man, I really have a good home for these guys because these guys, when I first made my comeback, and I was like, 2 years without fighting, and not too many people want to, go ahead and, help you out and sponsor you. These guys did. So Unique Kennels has got a big spot for me. And I expect to go all the way to the top of these guys and, still work together. Also, Project Sound computer repair. These guys are actually jumping in for this fight camp. And that's actually really good for me. And I'm happy these guys jumped on, and I'm ready to make sure I go ahead and put out a good show for these guys. These guys are looking for me to get their name out there, and I'm going to do it.
Sure. Now, the fight is going to be 8 days out. It's 8 days from now. By the time this airs, it'll probably be 7 days out. But it's going to be October 31st, Halloween night. It's at the USF Sundome in Tampa, Florida. Now, if people can't get there, they can view the fights on CBS Sports on their TV. The prelims will be airing on the CBSSports.com on the internet. And if they can't get there, they miss the event, or they're just interested in what's going on with you and your future and your upcoming bouts, where can they follow you on social media to keep up with that?
If it's on Twitter, man, you guys can check me out at People's Champ ATT. That's my name on Twitter. You guys can check me out there. Jose Figueroa on Facebook. You go on there, you're definitely gonna see me pop up. And man, I want you guys to definitely follow me, man. I'm gonna be making my way to the top, and it's a great thing.